Good afternoon, children. Welcome to your I Learn English Literature class. Today we'll be doing a very humorous poem, which is chapter number 10 in your textbooks, When I'm an Old Lady by Joanne Bailey Baxter. So this poem has been written by the poetess for her children. Many years ago, she wrote this poem for her kids to convey in a very humorous and mischievous way the trials and tribulations, which means the problems, the troubles, the experiences which parents go through while bringing up or while raising their children. The troubles, the naughtiness, all those funny experiences, the memories which children in their childhood give to their parents, the troubles they give their parents, the joys and sorrows, all of it which the parent experiences as their children grow up or while raising up their children. This poetess has brought in a lot of humor by saying that what she wants to do when she becomes an old lady. So we can assume that the poet is not an old lady now. We should assume that by hearing the title of the poem, When I Am an Old Lady, by looking at the title, we can assume that she is not yet an old lady, but she is musing about, she's thinking about all those things she wants to do when she becomes an old lady. Okay, when she grows up, she becomes old. What are the things she wants to do uh, to trouble her children, to pay back, to repay all those things which she has gone through, all the troubles which her children have put her through. Okay, while she was bringing them up, all the things which they did to her, she wants to do each of those things so that their children realize that how much trouble she had gone through while bringing them up. But all this she wants to do not to take revenge on her children. It is not a revengeful way which she plans. She plans to do all these things in good humor, in jest. Okay, so that her children also take it likewise and understand how what she means when she does all these things. Her children should also take it in good humor and realize that these are the things which they used to do to her when they were growing up. Okay, so all this is planned in a humorous way. She is not revengeful. A mother can never be revengeful towards her children. Okay, she does not want to take revenge, and she may or may not do all these things which she's talking about in the poem. Later on in life, she's just musing that I will do all these things when I grow old, and I will trouble my children the same way they used to trouble me. But ultimately, she may not end up doing all those things which she's talking about, but she may do just some of them, just to make her children realize what she has gone through while bringing them up, and that bringing children up, raising children up, is not a piece of cake for parents. So as when they grow up, they should also realize that being a parent is a very tough job. It is not an easy job to do. Okay, this is what she wants to convey to her children, but in a very humorous way, in an amusing way. How she would grow up, and when she would go and live with her kids, and she would become a child again, and she would do all those things which children generally do and which troubles their parents. So if you have read the 7 Ages of Man in class 7, I don't remember if you did 7 Ages of Man, Shakespeare has also said that old age Shakespeare has described as second childhood. So she would also, when she becomes old, when she grows old, she would also become another child to her kids, and then they will also have to go through all those things which she had gone through when they were small. Okay, so it is a very humorous poem, and she would like to see the reaction of her kids to all the behavior she will go through, she will enact in her old age, whatever behavior she would put on, and she would be watching to see how her children would react to her childish behavior. So this is the tone of the poem is also very delightfully mischievous. The poet is mischievous when she speaks when she portrays all those things which she would like to do. And she seems to be a very lively and energetic person who has already planned about her forthcoming old age, what she would like to do. And she has a very cheerful spirit. Her goal is to do all the annoying things to her kids, which they had done to her when they were young. So, but she sees the fun in all this, and she knows that her children, when they also grow up, will also try to see the humor in her behavior. And in reality, she may not do all those things which she is now saying that she would do. Okay, so this is a very fun poem. And let us now go and go to your book, follow your books on page number 87, and let us see the green portion. I'll read first, so you must also follow. The poem When I'm an Old Lady is written by Joanne Bailey Baxter, who belongs to Ohio in United States. So we do not know much about this poetess. The only thing is we know that she is an American poet. She lived in Ohio in the US. She wrote this poem for her kids many years ago to convey in a humorous way. Humorous, underline humorous and write down funny way, amusing way. Humorous way means amusing or funny way. The trials and tribulations of being a parent. So trials and tribulations, underline and write down. Troubles and suffering. Difficult experiences. You can write all these meanings. Trials and tribulation means troubles, suffering, difficult experiences of being a parent. Means that she wanted to convey to her children all the troubles and sufferings and difficult experiences, as well as the joys and sorrows of bringing them up as a parent. What experiences has she gone through while bringing up her children, while raising her children? She is not vindictive at all. Now underline vindictive. It means to take revenge. She's not revengeful. Vindictive means to take revenge, wanting to take revenge. She is not revengeful at all. She cannot take revenge on her children. A parent can hardly think of taking revenge on her children. So underline vindictive and write down revengeful. This is not a poem in which she wants to take revenge on her children. She just wants her adult children to realize that raising them was not a piece of cake. A piece of cake, also we also say a cakewalk, which means not an easy task. A piece of cake, something that is very easy. A piece of cake refers to something that is very easy. So she wants to tell her children that bringing them up was not a very easy task. It was very difficult for her. For every parent, bringing your children up to become to be responsible, to be good citizens, to be good human beings is not a very easy job. Every parent goes through difficult experiences, goes through all the ups and downs in life to bring up their children. So she wants them to realize that bringing them up was not a piece of cake. And now they can experience what she went through as they take care of her. So when the roles are reversed, when she becomes dependent on her children, previously her children when they were young, they were dependent on her. But now the tables have turned and she has become old and she will go and live with her kids and she will be dependent on them. And they will now take care of her, whereas she was taking care of them in her, yeah, in their young age. So now the tables have turned and they will also, when they take care of her, they will also realize what kind of experience she had gone through when they were young. The tone of the poem is delightfully mischievous. Mischievous here means naughty, full of naughtiness. As this woman plans ways she'll get back at her kids. So underline get back means to take revenge or to pay back, to repay. In what ways will she show her children how she planned, the ways she had planned to show her children the side of which she had experienced during their childhood. So she wants to experience their childhood where while she's doing all these things, these naughty mischievous things, when she will do at her kids place, she will also relive their childhood. Okay, while doing all these naughty mischievous things, she will also relive their childhood, her children's childhood. She will relive again through her deeds, whatever the plans she has. Now when we read the poem, we will come to know what all she has planned to get back at her children, to repay, to take revenge, or to take revenge in a mischievous way, in a humorous way. Okay, so let us begin with the first stanza. When I'm an old lady, I live with each kid and bring so much happiness just as they did. I want to pay back all the joy they've provided, returning each deed. Oh, they'll be so excited when I'm an old lady and live with my kids. So it's a very simple poem written in simple language, no difficult words as such. The lady is saying that when I become old, when I grow old, my wish is that I live with each of my kids one by one. I'll stay with each of my children. I'll live with each kid means I'll stay with each of my children one by one and bring so much happiness just as they did. And also, while I'm staying with them, I will bring happiness to their lives just the same way they had brought happiness to my life. When parents give birth, as a parent, you know that no matter how irritated, how angry you are with your kids, how much you scold them, if you have kids, the house looks very happy, the home is happy, the home is cheerful, joyful. So she, in the second line, she speaks about the happiness she is going to bring, the same way they had brought her happiness. They had brought happiness to her life, the joys they had brought to her life. Okay, children always bring joy. So no matter how naughty they are, how mischievous they are, parents always feel very joyful with kids around them. So that is the same thing. She opens the poem with the line that I live with each kid and I'll bring the same kind of happiness, the joy to their life, which they brought to my life when they were small. I want to pay back all the joy they've provided. Pay back here means repay, to give back all the joy. See, she's not talking about the troubles in the first stanza. She's talking about the happiness, the joy the children brought to her life. So she's saying, I'm also going to repay all the joys they had brought to my life with their presence. In my life, they had brought so much joy, so much happiness. Everything they did brought cheer to me, although sometimes they brought sorrow, and I used to be angry, but most of the time having children around in the house brought sorrow, brought joy, and brought happiness to my life. So I am going to return uh, all those things to them when I stay with them. Returning each deed means I will do all those deeds, all those things which they did to me. I'm going to return everything back. I'm going to give them back all those things, every deed, every single thing which they have done when they were children. I'm also going to do all those things to make their lives happy and joyous and cheerful. Oh, they'll be so excited. So she also feels that when she does all those naughty things which they did to her, they are also going to be super excited to have their mother behave like a child. So when I'm an old lady and live with my kids, the portion which is in bracket, please write down there. It is a refrain or a chorus. Refrain. So that is a refrain in the poem. After each stanza, this line is repeated. So whenever there is a refrain in a poem, a particular line is repeated after each stanza. It is done to emphasize that portion, that line, that the old lady is very cheerful, very excited about growing old and living with her children one day. So this, after every stanza, this line has been used to emphasize the point that the old lady is very happy. She's when she muses, when she thinks about her future, when she's going to spend her life with her children, living with her children. So she's very excited about that prospect, and she repeats this line after each stanza. So this is also called a poetic device. Please write down that this is a refrain or a chorus which is used to emphasize a particular poem, particular part in a poem. Okay. So this point, this chorus is repeated to emphasize how excited the poetess is at the prospect of having the opportunity to live with each of her kids in her old age. So this line is a refrain or a chorus which you will find at the end of every stanza. This is a very simple stanza. We'll go on to the next, the second stanza. I'll write on the walls with reds, whites, and blues and bounce on the furniture wearing my shoes. I'll drink from the carton and then leave it out. I'll stuff all the toilets and oh, how they'll shout when I'm an old lady and live with my kids. So this refrain is repeated again in the second stanza. So what all things she'll do now, from the second stanza onwards, we come to know what all plans she has, what all she wants to do when she lives with her kids. So she'll be very naughty. She's going to scribble on all. Write on the walls means she's going to scribble on the walls. With reds, whites, and blues means with all possible crayons, with all the possible colors she has, the crayons. You know, the children do this in their homes. No matter how much the children stop them, the parents stop them from scribbling, they keep scribbling on the walls. So she's also going to do this. She has the plan. First plan is to scribble on all the walls with all possible colors, reds, whites, and blues. She's going to scribble everywhere. And bounce means she's going to jump on the furniture wearing her shoes. So this is all that she has experienced her children doing at home when they were small. The children, generally smaller children, the toddlers and the preschoolers, they always do this thing. They wear their shoes and they jump on the sofa, on the bed with their shoes on, and the parents keep shouting. And she'll do this. And what else do the children do? They drink, they take out snacks, they take out chips and juices and everything from the fridge, from the drawers. They will take these things out, eatables, because they are always hungry. Children are naughty, and in the process they are always hungry. And she will also do the same. Whenever she'll be hungry, she'll take out cartons from the fridge, she'll drink her juice, she'll throw the carton away here and there, and she will not put it in the dustbin, and the children will shout on her. They'll keep shouting on her like she used to shout on them to throw the things in the dustbin, to keep the things in their proper place, back in their proper place, and which the children never do. So she's saying that I'll drink from the carton of juice, maybe she'll drink and then leave it out, leave it here and there on the table, on the furniture, on the sofa, on the slab of the kitchen, but she will never put it in its proper place in the dustbin, which children also never do it. The parents have to shout on them to do the same. I'll stuff all the toilets, and how they shout. So the children also, when they are very young, not your age, but very young children, they love to play in the toilet. Either they'll be found under the taps, opening the taps and wetting things all around the toilet, or they will take their toys and stuff the toilet with their toys. They will put all the things in the toys. When they are smaller, they don't understand. They don't know that if they do that, the toilet will get blocked. So she will also behave the same way. She's going to take all her toys or all the things she finds anywhere. She's going to stuff the toilet. She's going to block the toilet. And when she does that, she's sure her children are going to shout on her. Just the same way, the parent, as a parent, she shouted on her for doing all these things, for scribbling on the walls, for jumping on the furniture with their shoes on, for drinking from cartons or opening the packets of chips and snacks and throwing them everywhere, not putting them in the dustbin, and for putting their toys in the toilets and blocking the toilet. She must have also shouted at them. Okay, so they will do the same. When she repeats these actions, they are going to shout on her. Okay, let's move to the third stanza. When they are on the phone and just out of reach, I'll get into things like sugar and bleach. Oh, they'll snap their fingers and then shake their head. And when that is done, I'll hide under the bed when I'm an old lady and live with my kids. So another plan, what she has, the other plans she has, when they are on the phone. So they are refers to her kids. So when her kids are busy taking phone calls, they are busy on the phone and just out of reach, means they cannot see her, they cannot hear her. When the parents, this line means when the parents are busy talking to someone, they must be attending a call from office, or maybe talking, just chatting with their friends, and they cannot hear or see her. What will she do? She will take sugar from the kitchen and bleach from the washroom, and she will spill it all over herself, or she will play with the sugar in the kitchen, she will throw the jar of sugar all over. And bleach is what? Bleach is a chemical which is used to um, uh, make things white, okay, to wash things and removing dirt and making them clean. So bleach will be kept in the washroom, sugar will be kept in the kitchen. She will take sugar from the kitchen, spill the sugar, play with the sugar, throw the sugar jar, and she will go to the washroom. She will take the bleach and maybe put all over her, put the bleach all over her. You have seen children playing with flour also. They go to the kitchen, they start playing with the flour, and in after some time you will see they are all covered in that flour. So she will also spill all the sugar and the bleach all over her. Oh, they'll snap their fingers. Snapping the finger means they'll make a clicking sound with the fingers. They'll snap their fingers. When they find out that she has messed up everything and she is covered in bleach and sugar, they will immediately be irritated. She's showing that when they see me like that, they are sure to get irritated, and when they are irritated, they're going to snap their fingers and they're going to shake their heads and say, what have you done? And when that is done, and when I have finished irritating them, I will quickly go and hide under the bed. So what she'll do the same thing the kids do when they do something mischievous, when they do something naughty, and when they get a scolding, they immediately go and hide under the bed, or hide behind their grandparents, wherever they can find any refuge. Okay, after irritating their parents, after doing all naughty things, they quickly go and hide under the bed or behind the door when they get a scolding, or behind their grandparents where they know they are safe. They can be safe. So she's also saying that when they are very angry and they start scolding me, I'm going to quickly hide under the bed. Okay, next stanza. When they cook dinner and call me to eat, I'll not eat my green beans or salad or meat. I'll gag on my okra, spill milk on the table, and when they get angry, I'll run if I'm able. When I'm an old lady and live with my kids. So now, most children are very finicky about food. They throw tantrums on the dining table. Whenever they are given something to eat, something nutritious, green vegetables or salads or meat, they throw tantrums. They don't want to eat what their parents would consider healthy for them. So she must have faced the same thing with her children. They also must have thrown a tantrum at the dinner table, not wanting to eat things which are healthy, which are good for them. They just want to snack and eat junk food. Most children want to do that. They don't want to eat healthy things. They don't want to eat their greens. So she's going to repeat all of that. When she gets the opportunity to stay with her kids, she's going to repeat all of that. When they cook dinner, that means when they have cooked their dinner and when they call her to come to the dinner table and eat, what is she going to do? She'll refuse to eat her green beans, and she'll refuse all the salad, all the meat that is on the table, the food which her children have cooked. She will refuse to eat all that. She will throw a tantrum and she'll say that I don't want to eat what you have cooked, just the same way her children must have done while they were young. They must have refused. They must have thrown a tantrum at the dinner table also. Gag on my okra. Okra refers to lady finger. Okra is lady finger and gag means choke. She'll pretend that she's choking and she's about to vomit. Okay, so all these things, these actions are done by children. Even grown-up children do this. When they don't want to eat something, they don't like something and they are forced to eat that thing, they generally pretend that they're about to vomit. I'm just about to vomit, and they'll pretend, and their parents would say, okay, okay, don't eat. You don't have to eat this. Don't vomit. Okay, so she'll act as if she's about to vomit. When she puts the okra, the lady finger in her mouth, she's going to pretend that she's just about to vomit. And she'll spill milk on the table. How many of you? I think all of you must have done this sometime or the other. The mother has kept the milk on the table to drink and it is lying there, it's getting cold, and the mother shouts 10 times, drink your milk, drink your milk. And finally, when you don't want to drink it, you just do something so that the milk is spilled on the table. The milk is all over the table and you don't have to drink it. But mothers are very clever. They will give you another glass of milk. They will never leave you. Okay. I also have experienced this, so I know. I never wanted to drink my milk and I used to pour the milk into the pots, the flower pots, but my mother used to come to know somehow or the other and she used to make me drink another glass after that. So she's going to do just that. She's going to spill the milk. She's going to throw a tantrum on the dinner table. She will refuse to eat the green vegetables. She will pretend that she's about to vomit on the table. All those tantrums which her children must have shown her, she is going to repeat all those things when she sits down to eat. And when they get angry, and when they are angry with her, they are irritated, they are upset about everything, she'll run from the dinner table. If I'm able, the line if I'm able shows that she knows that she'll be big, she'll be very old by then. So she's just doubtful whether I'll be able to run in that old age, whether my legs will support me, whether I'll be able to run. If I'm able to run in that age also, then I'll run away. Whenever they try to scold me, they get angry on me and they try to scold me, I'll run away from that place. Okay, if I'm able to, if my legs still support me in my old age. Okay, so when I'm an old lady and live with my kids is again repeated at the end of the fourth stanza. Now coming to the fourth stanza. I'll sit close to the TV. Through the channels I'll click. I'll cross both eyes just to see if they stick. I'll take off my socks and throw one away and play in the mud till the end of day. When I'm an old lady and live with my kids. So now another thing which the children do all the time when they are young, they will switch on the TV and they will choose a sofa which is closest to the TV or a couch or a bed, position on the bed which is closest to the television set. They can't watch TV from far. I have seen most children, they want to sit very close to the TV and watch TV. So she's going to do the same. She's going to sit very close to the TV set and she will go on changing the channels just like the small children do. Whenever an advertisement comes, we don't want to watch it, we just change the channel. So she is also going to do the same. She will sit close to the television set and irritate her parents by going on changing the channels. I'll cross both eyes just to see if they stick. This is another naughtiness which the children do and which the parents tell them not to do. They try to bring both the eyeballs close to the nose and just to see, just for the fun's sake, they will do that. They will cross their eyes. That means they will try to bring both the eyeballs near the nose just to see, just for fun. And she's also going to do those things. I'll take off my socks and throw one away. This is another habit. The children never keep their socks and shoes in the proper place. You come home from outside and you throw your shoes somewhere, your socks somewhere. She's also going to do the same. She's never going to put her things in their proper place. She'll take off her socks and throw one of them away somewhere, the other one somewhere else. And she's going to play in the mud. If she gets an opportunity to go outdoors and play, if her parents send her outside, that inside the house you're going on watching television, you are making a ruckus here, you're being so naughty inside the house, just go outside and for some time. If her children tell her, go outside and spend some time outside the house for some time, what she'll do, she'll play in the mud. Just like her children used to do when she used to send them outside to play. They used to play in the mud and they used to come home with all their dirty clothes and shoes, and then she had to wash all those mud off the clothes. So she's also going to do the same. When they ask her to go outside and for a while, she's going to return in all muddy clothes. Okay. And till the end of the day, she's going to play. She's not going to come home easily. When I send my child outside to play and I tell her come back by in 1 hour, she wouldn't come within 1 hour. I'll have to call her 10 times and then only the children come back home. So she's going to do the same. When she's allowed to go and play outside the house, first of all, she's going to play in the mud. And secondly, she'll spend the entire evening there. She'll not come back until she's called back. Okay. So all these things she's going to do. So in the last stanza, she's going to be very tired and exhausted after doing all the mischief she has planned to do to her children. She's going to be very tired and exhausted. After all, she'll have become old by then, and all the mischief she had planned, and she will do the entire day, scribbling on the walls, jumping on the furniture, stuffing the toilets, drinking from the cartons and throwing it here and there, and then getting into things like sugar and bleach, and hiding under the bed, and refusing to eat her food, and sitting in front of the TV the whole day, then going outside and playing in the mud. After all these things, the children also finally get tired, and this old woman will also get tired. By the end of the day, she'll be tired, and later in bed, I'll lay back and sigh. I'll thank God in prayer and then close my eyes. My kids will look down with a smile slowly creeping and say with a groan, "She's so sweet when she's sleeping." So, similarly, when our children go to bed, we are so happy finally that some peace is there. Now I can sit with and read my book because the children are sleeping. Now I can watch my favorite television show now that my children are sleeping. So, all of us parents, when our children are very young, very small, not like you, they are not at a stage where they understand the parents also. They are very small toddlers or preschoolers, or say preteen children. They, when they are finished with all the naughtiness, they become exhausted and tired, and finally when they go to bed, their parents heave a sigh of relief that finally I'm going to get some time to myself. The same way, the old lady, after doing all the mischief through the day, she'll be tired, she'll be exhausted, and later when she lays down in bed, lay back and sigh. Sigh means let out a long deep breath, because she would be tired and exhausted by the end of the day after doing all this mischief. So sigh, please write down again, let out a long deep breath. She'll sigh when she lays down in bed because she'll have been very exhausted by that time. She'll pray to God before sleeping. She will thank God for all the blessings she has in her life in the form of her children. So she'll thank God for everything she has, and then she will go off to sleep. Close my eyes means she'll go off to sleep. Then she's sure that her kids will come into her room and invite each other to come and see. Come, see. And say with a groan. Groan means a mournful sound, a sad sound, when you are in pain, when the whole day they have gone through all this, looking at their mother's childish behavior. They have also become very tired, and their relief at the end of the day will come when they see their mother finally sleeping in bed peacefully, and they will invite each other and say, creeping means moving, with a smile slowly coming to their faces. When they see their mother sleeping, they will finally smile a little bit and say to each other in a sad, mournful sound. They will make that, they will say that she looks so sweet when she's sleeping. That means she's so beautiful, she's so innocent when she's finally asleep. Just like small children, the naughtiest of kids, when they are sleeping, they look very innocent. Okay, so they will also, when they finally see that their mother is in bed and sleeping peacefully, they will also heave a sigh of relief. Their relief will come at the end of the day when their mother finally is in bed, and they will say to each other that how beautiful, look how beautiful and innocent she looks while she's sleeping. And the moment she gets up, she will again be up to all the mischief she's been up to now. While she's sleeping, she's trying to regain her energy. She's rebuilding her energy for the next day, when she will start off with her mischiefs once again. So this is a very joyful, very delightfully mischievous poem, written in that tone, in a mischievous tone. As a parent, what all you go through while raising your kids, what pains, what joys, what sorrows, all that you go through, and you want that in some way your children should realize. The poetess just wants the children to realize that what she has gone through when she was raising them up, their childhood, she wants them to relive their childhood, and she wants to relive their childhood again herself. Okay, so she'll do all those things to remind them what all she has gone through while bringing them up, and that it was not very easy to bring them up. It was not an easy job. It was not a cakewalk. It was not a piece of cake. Bringing up children is a very difficult job. So she wants her children to realize that. But it is all in good humor. She does not have a revengeful tendency. She is not vindictive about it. She does not want to take revenge on her children at all. She just wants them to realize that how difficult it is being a parent, being a mother, being a parent is such a difficult job. And she wants to pay all the deeds which they had done during their childhood. She wants to repeat all those things while she lives with each of her children. In fact, she's looking forward. The chorus in the poem, the refrain in the poem is there to emphasize on the point that she is very excited at the thought of living with her children in her old age. So the refrain or the chorus in the poem emphasizes how excited the poetess is about the prospect of living with her children in her old age. Okay. So this is the poem. This is we come to the end of this poem. Very humorous, very simple poem, and I hope you enjoyed it, as I also loved this poem very much. It's a lighter poem in your syllabus, and it's a very simple poem, but it's at the same time it's very humorous and very mischievous and very enjoyable poem. I think you I hope you all have understood. So thank you, children.